Go.
Can you see the Bible?
Yep.
You can see this?
I can see all of that.
Alright. So, this is us. This thing with valves. It's for aquariums, but just, it has valves and you can put hoses and air comes out. So this is us before Christ. And this is God. Just representing God. And when Adam fell, the connection was lost. You know? So when we get saved, the Bible says that He quickens us. He takes out a heart of stone, puts in a heart of flesh, puts His Spirit, boom, which is boom, right there. And we get saved, boom, He plugs us back. And you know how it says that He formed Adam out of the dust of the ground, and then He breathed into him, and he became a living being. Yes. So all of a sudden we get saved, boom, air comes. But what happens when you start to get saved, and the Bible says that out of the throne of God flows out living water out of the throne. And Jesus also says, out of us, out of your heart will flow rivers of living water. Well, where does that water come from? It's coming from the throne of God. So the very presence of God and everything, it's like an umbilical cord. We are reconnected to an umbilical cord. That's how baby gets its nourishment. Whatever the mother eats, the child gets it. Yeah. So we are connected with God, and the very things of God, His presence, everything. It's like that's why He says, "I am the vine, and you're the branches." Mm-hmm. So it flows through. This is where I believe. This is what I taught the other day, that when we speak in tongues, it's literally this becoming so much. It has to come out somewhere, so it flows out of our mouth. So this is our mouth now. So when we're worshiping, we're in prayer, whatever, this stuff just coming out and bubbling out of us. You know, it's coming out, it's coming out, it's coming out. You know, so here's the thing though. In aquariums, the reason they put these gauges, these little vials right here, is each one opens up a different airline. So if I didn't have this, some of the pumps are so big, it would blow so much air into the aquarium. It would just cause chaos. So you need to have something to gauge it, you know? So here's what happens though. I remember when I first, you know, when I matured in the things of God, and somebody taught me that healing is for today. You know? I got so excited. I'd never seen nothing like that. I started praying for people. People started getting healed left and right. And I'm just like blown away. So it was like, okay, I was operating with this, but now, boom, I learned that healing, man, that's a hose in my life. And you know what? I had it wide open. And everything I talked about was that only. And that's it. You know, but I realized that sometimes, if all the pressure is going out there, it causes a mess. And I realized, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I kind of backed it off a little bit. And then actually even before that, through one of my Bible classes, they did the main course was how to hear the voice of God. And actually, that was actually the first one. So let's replace this to the second one. So how to hear God's voice, it blew me away. It blew me away, and it was just like boom, full on, and that's everything. Like that's all I would talk about. I was journaling. I could everywhere I would walk, I felt like God was just talking to me constantly, like He wouldn't stop talking. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, you know. But then here's what happens, right? If I have a pump, and if I have this one full on, this one, even if it's full on, gets less of it. Because this one's just blasting away, and it takes some away from this one. So then I met somebody named John Ramirez out of New York. And man, his ministry is so powerful, you know, and I saw his testimony. He saw mine on 700 Club. We talked on the phone, we exchanged numbers, we started talking, and I'm just like, this is crazy. He was telling me stuff I never heard of as far as deliverance, and I'm just like blown away by it. And you know what it did? Added another one. And I'm like, this is awesome. And I turned that one on. You know, and I'm just going to end it with those three, I'm not going to go into these two, but I want to talk about these three, is I realized this person that taught me about hearing God's voice, hearing His prophetic word and all that, he made an entire ministry out of that. And I'm like, man, that's exciting. That's awesome. But I felt the Lord tell me, that's not what I'm calling you for. And I'm like, God, but that's exciting. That's not what I'm calling you for. You need to dial it down a bit. All right, God. Okay. And this healing thing, boom. I had somebody tell me, man, I can't believe you're not filming this stuff. If you fill this thing up, if you film this, you will have people blocks trying to get into your Sunday service. And this is at a time when I was about to lose my building. I didn't have no money. There was no budget for the church. Sharon wasn't around yet. And I'm just like, Lord, is this from you? Is this what you're telling me to do, to have a healing ministry? That way I'll have people lined up around the corner just, and I'm like, God, yes, finally, God, finally I can pay this building. And He's like, no, that's not for you. Dial it back a little bit. Man, Lord, it's not for you. You need to preach my word. You need to be about me.
Yes.
All right, God. Okay. Actually, that was the third one. I'm keep doing things backwards. And then the same thing. No. And then this thing with John Ramirez. That's what it was. And he gave me so much knowledge just over phone calls. There's things I would ask him about. He's like, call me anytime you want. Here's my number. Here's my cell number. And he was just telling me stuff, and I was just learning. And I saw demons being casted out. Even when Sharon came down here, we cast demons out, man. We saw people delivered, and same thing. And then I saw other ministries. They're like, man, you got to film this stuff. You got to put it on YouTube. You got to do this. And they have thousands of viewers and thousands of subscribers. And I'm like, Lord, yes, this is it. You didn't let me do the hearing God's voice. You didn't let me talk about that. And you didn't let me put it out about healing. But for sure, everybody needs deliverance. So you're going to let me, you know what? It's not for you. I'm like, but God, we're struggling as a church. He's like, that's not what I'm calling you for. He goes, you need to lift me up and I'll draw all men unto me.
Yes.
So dial it back. All right. So I dialed it back. And it's like, I'm saying this, I didn't mean for you to film it, but that's fine. It's okay. To answer your question yesterday about what I consider doing a healing, what'd you call it?
Oh, the crusade.
Crusade. And you had to take it to prayer, and I was just talking to God about it and stuff, And here's the thing, right, is that I know House of Rest is not meant for any of these singly, I don't feel led to turn Sunday morning into how to hear God's prophetic voice and just make it about that. I don't feel like House of Rest is meant to, man, let's heal people. Let's get people out of wheelchairs. Let's people heal of diabetes. Let's bring people with coronavirus and with AIDS and, And you're not going to make House of Rest Sunday about casting demons out only. He goes, this is what I want you to do, though, is dial all these back and use them all.
Yes.
Give a word when a word needs to be given. Bring healing when healing needs to be given. And cast demons out when demons need to be casted out. And that's kind of my vision. But that's not saying no to you. That's saying, if that's something that could fit into a 1 month thing, or I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, I'm just saying the way I would see it if it would happen is it would have to be something separate from what happens on a Sunday morning.
Oh no, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where the direction you're going anyways, because I do like to teach about hearing the voice of God. I do love to teach identity and healing. I do love to teach about demonology and casting demons out and all of that stuff, I just don't feel House of Rest should be this one or this one or this one full blast. And I would rather have it be like this, where they're not shut off, but it's flowing out. What are you going to say? you know, and flowing out. And I think that